to the north. So let's go ahead and we'll get a new tracker put on this, maybe see if we can get a more accurate track with the general direction that it has been going over the last 45 minutes. So we'll go back here to where it started down here near Clay, and then we'll kind of come up here. So we'll take a look at it's almost going, so I think even if there was a tornado on it, looks like it would be staying west of Union City. But we'll go ahead and get a quick zoom in here on our center of rotation. So there's some other communities. Haines, Windberg, probably need to be in your safe spot as it comes through here. Again, radar indicated rotation. Blue Bank, looks like Sandburg, going to be very close to you if you're watching us in Sandburg. And then Dixie, west of Old Fremont, Woodland Mills. If it keeps the same general path, it looks like it's going to be about 7 miles west of Union City. That's if it does produce a tornado, and that's if it does continue in the same general area of rotation that it has. So we'll get a new tracker put on here. Well, it's important to a lot of people. Obviously, you want to know when the concerned time would show up for you. So we'll go ahead and get our little tracker on that. We'll draw it out. So there's a look at Sandburg, Dixie, Crystal, with the potential timing of that. Again, if it continues. So if you're just watching us, again, we're covering a tornado indicated rotation, tornado warning from the National Weather Service. It looks like they did do an adjustment to the polygon. They are going to continue to keep it out. It's out till midnight, so another 22 minutes on this rotation. Again, National Weather Service, not super sure about this, so that's why they went ahead and put that tornado warning out there just to be safe, because there's a lot of mid-level rotation. It's so far away from their radar that they would have trouble even seeing down to the bottom of that storm. So there's our thunderstorm between Tiptonville and Ridgely, the little area of rotation. You notice it's not those supercell structures where, like we were tracking back earlier in the month when we had those individual storms. You could really see the hook echo on them. So what we're looking at is inside these storms. It's a velocity product which looks at where the wind speeds are moving inside. So it basically is picking up particles that are blowing around to and from the radar. So reds are typically towards the radar, greens are away, or with this radar it's actually a blue. So there's the rotation, very slow moving little area of rotation near Ridgely, but the storm line itself is moving pretty fast, around 55 miles an hour. So there's a look again at our timing. Sandburg, Hornbeak, it's going to be pretty close to you as it tracks up to the northwest. Looks like it'll stay again west of Union City if it keeps that same track. But a very broad area of rotation, probably has some 40-mile-an-hour winds with it too, straight line winds if it's not producing a tornado, which again we have not seen anything showing that there's a tornado on the ground with it as it tracks up to the northeast here. But it's been kind of doing its thing now for about an hour, this area inside the storm. So again, the National Weather Service watched it for about 30 minutes. And then they were waiting to hear some reports. We didn't get any reports of wind damage or a tornado on the ground, but go ahead and they issued the tornado warning for that cell. Again, down south, a couple of these other ones, Ripley looks like could have some gusty winds coming on in. We'll be watching these ones down south a little bit later as they move more into our traditional viewing area here of counties like Gibson, Madison here a little bit later tonight. And then that line does extend all the way down. But what you don't see is a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings. So here's the entire line tonight, okay, extending from central Illinois all the way down into southeast Arkansas under that tornado watch. But there are no severe thunderstorm warnings. There's just one tornado warning out tonight for that cell. That's the only rotation that's currently even showing up in any levels of the atmosphere right now. So we'll watch that storm again. The line's going to slowly march off to the east tonight as it tracks on through. We'll go ahead and pull up our tornado tips for you just in case you need a quick refresher. And if you're under this tornado warning or any other ones tonight, we've been talking about this now for a few weeks, but always make sure if you're under any sort of storm threat that you do got batteries, flashlight, water first aid kit, medication. You got to know your plan inside your sturdy building. I'm sure you all went over this the last couple of weeks, but if you're under a warning itself, again, some other things you can do is be sure to grab our cell phone, pull us up on Facebook. We're live on WBBJ News Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel WBBJ YouTube. You can find that. We're also there's a live link on both of our apps, our news app and our weather app, where you can access our live feed, because a lot of times you'll lose power, the TV goes out, or you can't hear your TV from your safe spot, but you can always take your cell phone with you and it'll stay up a little bit longer. All right, so we'll kind of wrap back up here to the top. And we'll take a look at our line of storms here. Again, still nothing new out of the National Weather Service. They're still keeping that tornado warning active, though, for that at least mid-level rotation that they're seeing within that storm. Only 100 lightning strikes right now across this entire line of storms, so it doesn't have a lot of energy, but there is a small area of rotation between Tiptonville and Ridgely, and you can kind of see that there. So this is a look at we'll go on the Memphis radar, looking at that storm. I'm going to just make sure we isolate the Memphis radar, because I want to take a couple different looks at these storms tonight. As they're coming on through, because these ones are in an area that's, again, a long ways away, not only from the Memphis radar, but it's a long ways away from the Paducah radar as well. So sometimes it's hard to get a good look. But this is very broad area of rotation. So I can circle the area of rotation for you. And you'll see kind of how big it is. Typically with a tornado, you're looking at 1 to 2 or 3 mile mesocyclone. And this one is, 10 miles. So big 10-mile area of rotation. But there is that little darker area just showed up in the last scan, so you can see where those blues did get a little darker right here. So I think they're going to keep this tornado warning active. So that's the main area of concern. So we'll get inside there. That looks like right through Windberg, Keefe. So if you're watching us in Lassiter Corner, Blue Bank, Sandburg, you probably need to get in your safe spot now. Sandburg, again, radar indicated. I'm not saying there's a tornado on the ground, but I'm not saying you should risk it either, because it's dark at night. Everything is rain wrapped, and we're relying on radar data that's pretty long ways away from the radar currently. So Sandburg, you need to be in your safe spot. Next up, probably Dixie, Crystal, if it's continuing to rotate as it comes on through. So again, there's a look at that. Try to save a couple more images here, so when I head back up to the wall, I won't have to head back over here to the computer. Meteorologist Brian Davis was in all day covering the severe storms that were getting closer, and Mo's going to be joining me here a little bit later this morning if these storms continue to be a problem. But this is the only severe or even severe or tornado warned storm right now. But again, this one's been rotating for a while. You can see there on the Memphis radar that they were watching it all the way back east of Kennett when it first started to rotate there. So okay, these southern storms are still cooperating, but there is a lot of lightning down here west of Memphis. So looks like this little area west of Memphis is trying to kick up a little bit more lightning, so that may be a storm we end up need to watch. Most of this, what's coming in right now into Dyer County, it looks like Crockett County, Haywood County, Gibson County, right now looks pretty weak. This little section coming through, but we'll keep an eye on it. There's enough moisture and instability tonight to produce a couple of severe thunderstorms, but the atmosphere is definitely not as charged up. Usually when you get late at night with events like this, you lose some of the instability and some of the ingredients necessary to produce tornadoes, but they're still trying to rotate tonight, at least this one near Tiptonville. So again, not a confirmed tornado, but there's definitely a lot of broad rotation here heading into the Sandburg area. There's the area that's the tightest on the rotation. We pick it up on the Paducah radar south of Tiptonville. Again, that looks like it's heading right over 21 into the Blue Bank area. We'll stay on this image here, till we get another radar scan. We'll see if it looks worse or better than this current scan that we're looking at here. If you're just joining us now, either online or if you're watching us on TV, we're covering a radar indicated area of rotation, which is heading into Obion County right now. So this is our only severe storm, only a tornado warned storm right now along the entire line. But it's definitely got enough concern that they should have that tornado warning out with it. So I think that was a good call. Again, even if there isn't a tornado right now, it could drop one here at any minute as it comes through. But again, we're not expecting a bunch of tornadoes tonight, but we are under that tornado watch out until 4 a.m. And it's definitely better to be safe than sorry when you're dealing with these types of storms. We should be getting a radar scan here update any minute from the National Weather Service out of Paducah. We'll hopefully have that coming on through. Here's a look at the timing of that little area of rotation if it does come through. I think it stays west of Union City, but it'll be close, around 12:08. I think it stays about 5 miles or so west of Union City, this little center of rotation. Again, we're not calling this a tornado right now. It is just radar indicated rotation that we're picking up with that one little storm. But there's a look at the timing. Crystal, Union City, Highland, Gibbs, Dixie, you need to stay with us here till that comes on through. You notice it actually looked like a little bit more even impressive as it was west of the Mississippi before they put the tornado warning on it. So I'm definitely going to stay, at least this one is going to stay west of Union City as it moves on through. So there's a look at it from Memphis. Down south here again, we are starting to see some pretty heavy rain moving into Ripley. This will be approaching Halls. And then Alamo, you're probably going to have a little bit of thunder and lightning waking you up here soon. I'm going to take a look at the, so 179 strikes. A lot of those are with this storm we're watching now west of Memphis. That's this one here. Notice that the lightning really upticked on it in the last 15 minutes or so. So we're coming up here to Crockett, Gibson. These are probably beginning to move close into your area as well. So see if we still waiting on a newer scan, I think, from that. So we'll go back and see when's the last scan we got. Yeah, so we're waiting on getting a new radar scan out of Paducah. It seems to be taking a little long to get through into the computer there. So there's our little area of rotation. I can check with nothing new here at the National Weather Service. Again, it's late at night. They're having, obviously, anything that spins up along this line is highly rain wrapped. It's not going to be those little individual supercells, which are much easier to, to forecast and tell you where they're going and when. I mean, they're much easier to track and see than these ones are here that are typically in rain-wrapped lines like this. But this whole area has been rotating for a while as it tracks up to the northeast. But there's our tornado warned radar indicated area. It's now to the northeast of Ridgely. If you're watching us in Ridgely, it looks like that area of rotation is now past you. But there it goes, spinning up. Now it's the center of rotations east of the Mississippi River, still into Lake County, but it'll be moving into northwest Obion County here in the next few minutes. As it tracks up after that, it'll be up into Kentucky. But we'll stick with this one at least until midnight, and then we'll see what the National Weather Service decides to do with it. And then again, we're going to watch all this down to the south, what's coming on through. Again, I don't think we're looking at a bunch of tornadoes tonight. This is more likely than not probably our only tornado warning that is going to be issued. But can't guarantee that. I mean, we're under a watch. Storm Prediction Center definitely saw enough of a concern to put that tornado watch out tonight. But again, the only area that we're seeing that is currently showing any big rotation is that one up to the north. So that storm down here near Ripley, let's go ahead and take a look at that one on the radar. So is it showing a little bit that I'm seeing showing up now as well, embedded into that storm. So go back a couple scans on that one. You notice it's so a little bit of rotation there. But if you look at it just under the other product, so it looks like it may even have some small hail with it as well in that one just west of Ripley along 19. So maybe we'll have a couple of interesting storms here tonight as they come on by. That's why I'm here in the Weather Center, just keeping a close eye on things. Although, again, our instability may be a lot less than it was into Arkansas a couple hours ago. There's still enough. We're still under that slight risk for storms tonight. We're watching them to the west in Jackson, so they're a ways away, but might start to see some lightning strikes showing up on our Jackson cam here pretty soon. We'll put that into full mode, so we'll really not seeing a whole lot showing up yet on our downtown Jackson camera, but it's still pretty humid. We still got a dew point of 75 degrees, so definitely enough to get a couple of storms going tonight. We're under that level 2. There's a 5% chance of a tornado if you are in that level 2 tonight. 5% chance your county will be put under a tornado warning, basically. Still can't rule out some quarter-size hail or 60-mile-an-hour winds. But right now, again, we've got that tornado watch out as well. That's out until 4 a.m. Does not include Madison County right now, but it does include 9 of our counties here in West Tennessee. So here's our line of storms coming on by. Again, the only thing warned along this entire 1,000-mile long line is this one cell. But again, we're watching that other area of rotation down to Ripley, so this may not be our only rotating storm tonight. It's now moving, it looks like it's east of Tiptonville now. The area of rotation is heading right into Sandburg. The storm itself is moving fast, but that little area of rotation seems to be crawling up to the northeast tonight. So there's a look at that broad area of rotation, probably pretty broad, maybe a mesocyclone, maybe about 5 to 6 mile area of the storm, which is trying to rotate. For a tornado, you usually want to see a much smaller area of those colors. Again, it doesn't mean it won't produce one. It's definitely rotating, at least in the mid-levels of that storm. All right, down south, we got our little other area near Ripley that we're keeping an eye on. Right now, that's doesn't seem to be enough to get a tornado warning issued on it, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on a couple of the radar scans. All right, up here, right along 21 right now, it looks to be where that area of rotation is. So let's see, heading real close to Sandburg currently. Lassiter Corner, looks like that area of rotation is real close to you at the current moment. So I do want to go ahead, let's put a new tracker on there since we're back over here at the Weather Center. Go back a few scans. So definitely going to stay west of Union City, it looks like. It's almost trying to move maybe a little bit even further west of Union City than even 5 miles. But there's a look at that. Our Ripley one, I kind of want to, let's put this one in a 30-minute loop so we can see the general area that this one is trying to rotate to. Slow that down a little bit. So it could be pretty close to Halls. Again, it doesn't have a tornado warning on it right now, but it's definitely a little bit of rotation there as it comes through. And then the one down here, we're watching west of Memphis. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of any rotation in that one currently either. So again, it's kind of the general rotation of those little two cells, the one south of Tiptonville, and then the other one, we're watching that little storm close to north of Ripley right now. I'm going to see if the National Weather Service is saying much on that one. They're still seeing a bunch of unorganized rotation out of the Paducah radars for the northern storm. They're going to keep the tornado warning on it for another 6 minutes. We'll see what the National Weather Service in Paducah decides to do. I think they're going to be the next one to choose to issue a tornado warning for that, or they will issue a probably not even a severe thunderstorm warning. I would be surprised. I mean, I'm not seeing a whole ton of winds with that. There's just that big broad area of rotation. So we are at 11:55. It's Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here, tracking one rotating storm here in West Tennessee tonight. We do have a couple other stronger ones that we're watching south of Dyersburg that'll eventually be coming on in. But look at the lightning strikes are pretty minimal. This entire area here only has 60 to 80 lightning strikes. So not overly impressive storms right now, but we are still under that tornado watch till 4 a.m. Storm Prediction Center is still a little concerned for a couple of these to try to spin up something real quick. Anything that happens tonight, these are not going to be large, long track tornadoes, nothing like what we saw at the beginning of April. If we do get anything to show up, it'll probably be short-lived. Maybe EF0, EF1. That doesn't mean those aren't deadly, because they definitely can be if they hit the right places. But we're not expecting anything like what we saw again at the beginning of April. So our area of rotation now, it's very broad. I like when I can look at this and say I'm not really sure the worst of it, but it's probably right there near Sandburg, where it looks to be the most significant rotation. So if you're in the Sandburg area, again, probably just be in your safe spot, take your phone with you as it passes. I don't think there's a tornado on the ground right now, but there could be in a couple of minutes as it moves through town. So definitely some mid-level rotation there. And then heading up into Dixie, I think it's going to be real close to you. You probably got about 10 minutes if you're watching us in Dixie. Just keep it with our coverage here. We'll see what happens. Again, this warning's out for another 4 minutes, and then we'll see if they hold off maybe at Paducah. They may wait till 12:15 to decide to make their call, but the National Weather Service is either going to have to reissue this or let it expire at midnight. So we'll see. Again, not seeing anything showing that there's a tornado on the ground, nothing showing up on our debris tracker, nothing real tight. It's a very broad area of rotation, which is good. When we say broad, broad is good, tight is bad. So when we're tracking storms, broad is good, Again, tight is bad. So, all right. Thank you. It's been a long day for those of you that did point out the wardrobe situation. North of Ripley, again, there's a little bit of area of rotation there as well. As it tracks up to the northeast tonight, looks like that area near Halls, it doesn't have the attention of the National Weather Service yet, but I'm watching it. It's at least something worth watching there on the radar. So we've got, again, a couple areas of thunderstorms, one near Ripley, this other one near Tiptonville. And we're going to watch them tonight. That's what we get paid to do, is to watch these storms. So if any of them are doing anything that looks concerning, we want to let you know. There could be some real small hail, maybe dry hail, 50 right along 51 there as that comes by. A couple different areas of rotation along that little thunderstorm as it's coming on through. So that one may be worth watching, even if as our northern storm kind of looks like it's losing a lot of its structure. So like what I'm seeing on that northern storm that prompted the tornado warning for us to get on the coverage first. So again, there it is now near Sandburg. Again, anything's going to be rain wrapped tonight. It's not going to be easy to see it all on the reflectivity. So we're using our velocity product. The velocity again shows the winds inside a storm. The reflectivity shows the rain that's associated with the storm. So again, they're near Sandburg. Good news there as it tracks up along 22, Spout Springs, Clayton, Walnut Log, Dixie. Again, I'm not seeing anything. I think they're going to cancel this tornado warning or let it allow to expire. So we'll see. They've got a couple minutes to make their. All right, so they're going to expire it at midnight. That's what I thought they would do. So let's go ahead and give one more quick radar tour. We may have to break back in again for that other storm. I mean, we'll see. Again, there's kind of minimal energy with these storms tonight. So, but here's our line coming on through. A lot of lightning still showing up. Not a ton, but we're up to 127 strikes because we're including this one now west of Memphis. That one looks like it's got a little bit more lightning associated with it. So here's our thunderstorms tracking up to the northeast, and then it looks like we've got a little bit of rotation now east of Tiptonville. As far as what we can expect for the remainder of the night, again, probably a bunch of non-severe storms coming on by. I would be surprised if you saw me breaking in too much for tornado warnings tonight. But again, this one was rotating for a while. National Weather Service was watching it. I think they just wanted to be safe, but I can take a bunch of different views at this and very little rotation. So there it is. They pulled the tornado warning off for that one. So good news if you're watching us again along 22. Spout Springs, you can go ahead and get out of your safe spot as it tracks up to the northeast. This is the other one we're going to watch here for the next hour or so as it moves up to the northeast. Maybe some 40-mile-an-hour winds associated with this. You can kind of go back a couple of scans. Do see that there's a little bit of rotation heading into Halls, Friendship. So maybe Trenton, if you're watching us there, just make sure your ringer's up on your phone tonight. So if this does become a tornado warning, you get alerted and get woken up, and then you can turn on our coverage. As obviously, if there's any tornado warnings in our main viewing counties, we're definitely covering them. And time like tonight, we wanted to cover that one as well up into Lake and Obion counties. Just so it'll give you a lot of people a weather update tonight. I don't think we're missing much on TV at midnight on a Sunday night and a Monday morning. But we are going to head back to regular coverage for now. We'll do some more cut-ins, break-ins if these storms do turn severe or there's any more tornado warnings issued. If not, we'll give some updates on our Facebook as well. But thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here, just with a quick update here online on our Facebook and as well as our YouTube and live channels. We're still watching some thunderstorms tonight. There are no severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings right now, but there's still some storms on the way. Seeing some occasional lightning strikes when we're looking off to the west here from Jackson. We still are under that level 2 tonight, but this is Monday's threat. So, but we still do have that chance for a couple of tornadoes overnight tonight. But again, chances are looking very slim right now. We had a couple of weak rotating storms earlier, but they really struggled to rotate it all in the lower levels of the storm, which is needed to produce a tornado. But we still have that tornado watch out till 4 a.m. Does include counties northwest of Madison. I think it'll probably be close to around 2 to 3 when we'll see those storms coming in to Jackson, but we'll show you the tracking of everything coming up. But still a couple of thunderstorm clusters. We got about 170 lightning strikes here in West Tennessee from this line that's coming on by. Again, a couple of our stronger storms, this one heading over into Dyer. Again, we could have some 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts with some of these storms. Still can't rule out some real small hail, and there's still a very outside chance of a tornado. But up north where we had that that broad rotation, why we had that tornado warning out, for that cell that passed close to Dixie, west of Troy and Union City. And then down here to the south, we've got about 30 lightning strikes heading into Friendship. This is that little area of rotation we were watching earlier. This looks like some 40 mile an hour wind gusts, worst case scenario, I think up north. And that line does extend now down even as far south as Shelby County. But so here's that little area of rotation we were watching. Ripley, Halls, you notice it's not very impressive, not seeing anything at all to even come close to right now having a tornado warning issued on it. But here's the timing of that northern section. If it continues to track on through, we'll eventually come into Bells, Humboldt, maybe around 110, 115 with a little bit of a thunderstorm coming through. A little bit later through McKinsey, maybe around 130. Alamo probably going to be there here in about 20 minutes. So our southern storm, this one is a definitely producing more lightning. Those look like some straight line winds that are moving now north of Memphis, maybe 30 to 40 miles an hour. Looks like Jackson close to around 2 o'clock. So I think between 2 and 3 is when we'll pick up our best chance for a couple of thunderstorms to move through into the Jackson area. But you notice this one definitely has some pretty heavy rain, maybe some real small hail heading into the Bartlett area as it tracks up to the northeast. And then down south, we've still got some storms that we're watching down here that are trying to move up to the northeast. But you notice along this entire line, there is one severe thunderstorm warning, and then that one looks like it weakened almost immediately after they issued the severe thunderstorm warning. So little sliver area here of a tornado watch, which remains in effect for the next couple of hours tonight. Again, we're going to keep an eye on these storms. Futurecast does have them a little behind. It's got it closer to 3 here in Jackson, although I think it's going to be closer to 2. So, and then still moving southeast, Savannah, Selmer. I think by the time the sun comes up, we're going to see these storms that have moved on out. So most of the day tomorrow looks like it's going to be pretty good. We'll rack this back up to the top one more time if you're watching us on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Here's the latest on our tornado watch, which again is out till 4 a.m. Conditions still pretty weak, I think, to produce any sort of tornadic activity tonight, to be honest. But we did have that little area of rotation where we did get the warning issued for Obion County. Again, the watch is out till 4 a.m. We're going to watch things closely. Even if I don't think there's a great chance for a tornado, doesn't mean there won't be one. We're not perfect, obviously, as meteorologists. So that's why we're in. That's why we're keeping a close eye on it as this line comes by, just in case one of these does try to spin up. But there's 2 main storms we're watching. The one south here of Dyersburg, and then another one now north of Memphis. Those are, I think, our 2 strongest storms as they're coming on through. Maybe some 40 mile an hour winds, definitely some heavy rain, and some lightning beginning to uptick a little bit as this will head into west and northern sections of Gibson County here real soon. Up to the north, that looks pretty weak up into Obion County. Here's our storm that we're watching near Friendship. Probably going to be into Dyer, Trenton here within about 15 minutes. You're going to have a thunderstorm come by, maybe 40 mile an hour winds, but there will be thunder, there will be lightning, and you do notice those winds. We're watching any possible rotation there. There's a little bit in the mid-levels near Friendship, and then down south, this looks like pretty much straight line winds. But that area of rotation started around Ripley, and then it tracked up to the northeast right now. So we're keeping an eye on it. Again, very minimal rotation, could be close to Dyer. I don't think it's going to spawn a tornado, but if we see the next couple radar scans, it tightens up or anything, tornado warning gets issued, obviously we'll cover it live on TV as well. If not, we'll just do these little updates here about every 30 minutes on Facebook, tracking these storms tonight. Again, Facebook and YouTube or any of our live apps as well. our apps, you can access the live feed. But there's a look at the timing again. If you're watching us in Gibson County, eventually into Carroll County here, probably though closer to 1:45 before it does move into Carroll County. And then our southern storm we're watching down here north of Memphis. If it continues its northeasterly track, it'll be in Jackson close to around 2 o'clock. Again, none of these right now have a severe thunderstorm warning tag. None of them have a tornado warning tag. But they are, again, producing some lightning, some pretty loud storms as they come on by. So we're going to continue to watch this. We'll have another update here coming up on Facebook as well as our YouTube live platforms coming up at 1 o'clock. If there's a tornado warning or something that looks nastier in the meantime, we will jump in and cover it as well on TV. But if not, we'll see you back here in a little bit. All right. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here, just with our live storm update at 1 a.m. Still no severe thunderstorm warnings, still no tornado warnings, but there's a couple of loud thunderstorms we're watching tonight. I've seen a few lightning flashes looking up to the north here in Jackson. We still do have a chance tonight. This is Monday's threat, so once we get going into the next couple of hours, we're really not looking at much of a threat into the morning, although Mo Shamel is in here right now with me tracking these storms tonight. We still do have a tornado watch that's out until 4 a.m. So here's our line. Nothing severe along this line, although there are two thunderstorms of note. One moving into northern Gibson County right now, and another one just to the north of the interstate. Looks like it'll be coming in about an hour into Jackson, probably around 2 o'clock. But our northern storm, a lot of lightning, probably about 70 strikes here. There could be some really small hail up north. Union City, you had that little scare with that rotating storm. No tornado touchdown, and that warning did expire about an hour ago. But we do have a cluster of lightning strikes here, maybe a little bit of really small hail or heavy rain west of Dyersburg. It's probably just heavy rain that is showing up. Probably get about 10-15 minutes of heavy rain right along 45 there. Looks like there's some broad rotation, just like what we saw with the one earlier that they issued the tornado warning on. But again, this is not really tight enough. You want to hear us say broad. Broad is good. Tight's bad. Tight means that there's the storm's tightening up, trying to produce tornado. When it's broad like this, it's a large area of rotation. Look, this is probably 6-7 miles or maybe even 10 miles area of rotation. And it's there's usually a sign that could eventually produce a tornado, but we really haven't seen anything like that over the last couple of hours that any of this broad rotation is going to try to spin up a tornado or produce some low-level rotations inside these storms. So we are going to watch it. Looks like there could be 40-mile-an-hour winds maybe heading into Trenton, Barron's Corner with this up through Laneview. Here's that wind line approaching Alamo right now. You see where the colors do change. That'll be coming into Gadsden. Humboldt probably here in about 10-15 minutes. You're going to get those winds kicking up for you. Maybe again some 30-40 mile an hour gusts. So there's our wind line. That area of rotation that we were watching about an hour ago, notice it's spinning up here to the north, but again very broad. I'd be very shocked if they issued a tornado warning unless we saw something really changing on the radar scan here over the next 5-10 minutes or so. But looks like maybe some 40-mile-an-hour winds moving into northern Gibson County. Here's a look at the timing of that line. So Humboldt 125, maybe a little earlier than that. In Humboldt, I drew this about 5 minutes ago, and we had a couple of radar scans since then. So if you're looking at this time here, you can probably take about 5-10 minutes off of that. So we're probably closer to 115 in Humboldt, 135 probably in Medina, maybe close to 120 when it comes in to Milan. So there's our little line of some winds extending down to the south. We've got a secondary line of thunderstorms that we are watching into Shelby County right now. National Weather Service didn't say they saw any sort of strong wind gusts associated with that as it came through their office. But that'll be coming through Jackson a little after 2 o'clock. So probably going to get some thunder and lightning in Jackson between 1:45, 2:15, maybe some brief heavy rain. Not expecting large hail, not expecting any winds gusting up to 60 miles an hour with these, but again, can't rule out some real small hail or very heavy rain when you start to get some of those darker purples showing up with inside some of those storms. Anything will be rain wrapped tonight. Any of the rotations going to be embedded in this line. It's not. We're not going to see large tornadoes on the ground. Even if there were, you wouldn't be able to see them. So just keep it here on WBBJ. We'll be giving you updates here every 30 minutes online as long as we still do have an active tornado watch. We'll be tracking these storms tonight. As I said, Mo Shamel's in here now. He's getting ready to get going. He'll be with you through the morning. I'll stick around here for a little bit longer, though. Watch at least that storm that goes through Gibson County as it comes on by tonight. But Futurecast a little behind. Again, probably about an hour off. So we're looking at 2 coming through Jackson, probably about 4 coming through the Parsons area, and probably 5. I think by 6:30, I think everything moves on out. Let's take one more round, though. Look here at the radar. We'll get a new scan put on there for our timing of the event, but we still do have the tornado watch out again until 4 a.m. So one more quick radar tour here. We'll make sure we're not missing anything before we get off this live feed. So we've got the 2 different areas of thunderstorms that we're keeping an eye on. We've got this storm up here to the north, this one into Gibson County, and we've got this other one here south of Covington. Each one of these are tracking to the northeast. So again, we'll watch these as they move through. Neither one of these is showing any sort of low-level rotation at all. But there is a little mid-level spin still trying to get going with a couple of these tonight. Again, Union City, it looks like your severe threat's done, but Gibson County going to get pretty loud for you. In Trenton here, Bradford, you're going to get some lightning strikes coming on down. Again, that looks like some pretty heavy rain coming through Laneview, Lynn, Bradford, Skullbone. That's about 10 minutes out. And then some winds coming in. Right now it looks like into Trenton. So that's like the worst of it. We'll take a couple different radar looks at that. Again, none of that looks like severe type winds, but we are looking at probably a 30, maybe 40 mile an hour gust coming on in to Trenton with this. Again, rotation very broad. I don't see anything that looks like there's going to spin up a tornado with that, at least in the next 10 minutes or so. We're going to have to see some serious changes on the radar with that. So you notice the wind line, though, is moving pretty quick to the northeast, probably about 45, 50 miles an hour. We'll go back, hold on, and see one more look at that from the Paducah radar. Again, very broad winds there from Dyer over through Bradford. So we'll do a new timing on this from the Paducah radar, where the wind line would be. So if it continues at same speed, again, Humboldt, you're looking at between 115 and 125 coming on through. Gibson 117 to 127. And then Trenton, again, knocking on the door right now. So again, we got that southern line as well. It looks like it's weakening. It had a lot more lightning strikes a few minutes ago. But you notice there is a couple little cells coming together. So basically this second one in Jackson, we're looking at 2:30. That first one could get here at 2. That's this one near Mason if it continues. So between 2 and 2:30, it looks like we're going to get those storms coming through Jackson. Again, non-severe storms. I'm not seeing anything that looks too scary to me on the radar right now, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on these storms tonight. Every 30 minutes we'll do an update, so we'll have another one here at 1:30. We'll just kind of track these storms. As long as there's a tornado, watch out. We do want to keep you updated. Obviously, if there's a tornado warning, big strong storm that breaks in, we'll cover it in its entirety. But right now, I think it's looking pretty good. Try to get some sleep if you can tonight. Obviously, leave the ringer up on your phone if you're still east of this line tonight. You never know. Could get a quick spin up. Doesn't look likely tonight, but can't rule that out. Thanks for watching here on our live feed. We're going to again have another one here in about 20 minutes, and eventually in the next hour or so I'll be tagging in Mo Shamel, and he'll be tracking these storms for you tonight. So thanks for keeping it here on WBBJ. We'll see you here in about 20 minutes or so.